if you want to invest in art, you should look at many factors. The first factor, you should fall in love with the piece. This is the number one rule. Number two, obviously, you need to know at what price to buy and ask an expert before buying.
Kalim, welcome to the State of the Muse podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you here. So you are a Lebanese art curator, collector, and gallery founder based in Beirut. Mm-hmm. You're deeply passionate about modern and contemporary art from the Arab world. So before starting any session and going into all of this, I'd like to ask my guest one question. Imagine we're doing this in front of an audience. Mm-hmm. Who is one person that you would like to see in the front row and why?
So I would definitely like to see my fiancée because she's the person I care about the most, and we're hoping to get married sometime soon. Obviously, I would like to see her.
Okay, yeah. That's exciting. Congrats.
Thank you.
And so I want to start with you and how art entered your life. Mm-hmm. Before the gallery, before curation, what was the first real connection you had with art?
So basically, art has been present in my life since I was a child. Both my parents are designers, so I was exposed to art fairs, design fairs, etc. since I was a child. Used to travel with them everywhere. You know, they do a lot of fairs in Europe, in the States, etc. So I used to go with them, and this is where my passion as a Baddik started to grow. Mm-hmm. On the other hand, I'm also a musician. Okay. So since I was a kid, I started playing the piano at age 6. Grew to I discovered I'm into composition as well. So started learning composition and developed that talent up until now. But this is something very personal. Mm-hmm. So I relate to art through my musical side, and visually, I was exposed to art, paintings, etc. since I was a kid. So this is where, as a Baddik, my eye grew, and I started mm-hmm. learning more about the art world.
Yeah. And so at what point did you start collecting for yourself?
So the collecting part is recent. I started collecting in 2018.
Okay.
This is where I finished all my studies and etc. And I started working and started making money. So I decided every month a chunk of what I save would be invested into art. Okay. So started small, definitely, and it slowly grew. Mm-hmm. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, amazing. Yeah. And so at what point did you realize that, okay, you're collecting for yourself, but you actually want to also support the artists and have your own art gallery? Like, how did that transition happen?
So in terms of my career, mm-hmm. it's a long story. So I started out as a nutrition student. Okay. I was deeply in love with the body, nutrition, sports, etc. I was an athlete as well. That was like, school, mm-hmm. university period. I finished my bachelor degree in nutrition. My parents decided that I'm better off working with them in the family business. So we have a family business that's involved in lighting and design. So I had to do my master's in business, basically. Mm-hmm. So I did my MBA, my master's in management, and transitioned from my dream to becoming like an athlete, nutritionist, whatever, into the family business. And I did that for almost 5 years. But within that period, I started collecting art. And my love and passion towards art grew so much. So in 2021, I decided to resign from my family business and grow my art career.
Yeah.
So this is where I started the gallery. I had a small shop/storage area in Hamra. It's a cultural district in Beirut. At least it was. Now it's not anymore. But yeah. So I decided to take this space, transform it into a gallery, and start showcasing young emerging artists. At the same time, I showcase my collection because at the time, I had over 100 paintings in my collection. Wow. So I was like, they won't fit at home anymore. So I need a space to exhibit the art. So I used to do exhibitions, sometimes showcasing my own collection. Sometimes I used to collaborate with young artists. And this is where the idea started. And this is where everything, you know, was like, oh, that's a good idea. This is missing in town. This is missing in the Arab world. Maybe I should like get into it,
properly.
you know, properly. So yeah, this is where it all started, basically.
Okay, amazing. And so what was the first thing kind of you did when you started establishing it, from, you know, getting artists? How did you get them to earn your trust early on to, you know, have their paintings on your walls?
So like I said, when I started with young emerging artists. So basically, most of the artists that I exhibited were artists that had recently graduated, or like they didn't do any show before, etc. So they were excited to showcase their work. And like I said, galleries tend to work with more established artists usually, especially these days in the whole world, you know, because the gallery model is not really working anymore like before, you know, because we're exposed to social media, etc., etc. So we're more into like, it's an open world right now, like not like the old days. So to work with emerging new artists, galleries don't really like that, because doesn't make you as much money as the working with established artists. So when I saw that this is something that's missing and it's a gap, I'm like, I should do it. I'm young. I have passion for art. I need to support the young artists, because if I don't do that, and I need to inspire a lot of other people to do that as well, then eventually we won't have any talents anymore. People would be discouraged. Artists would be, we're like, I'm not going to study art. I'm not going to do art. Let me go work in finance, or I don't know. So I was like, I need to do something. And this is how the idea started, you know?
That's super interesting. I think you found like a really niche space. And so in that perspective, obviously there's the part where you try to support those emerging artists, but in parallel, you're also running a business.
Yes.
So how do you balance that out?
So basically, even though I resigned from my family business, I'm still involved, obviously, with my father, etc. So I have some sort of income that's coming from somewhere else. But I try to use my PR, my parents' PR, so years of working with designers, people who love art, etc. So I try to use that and get those people to have interest in the emerging art scene. And I was lucky enough to ride the train of the new Arab art trend, which was kind of not existent pre-2021. It was there, obviously, it has always been there. It's great. Arab art has always been like amazing. But recently, it's becoming more of a trend. So the Arab collectors are showcasing more their work. They're more like proud and happy to show that they have Arab art. The new generation is like, they're starting to believe that we should invest part of our money in art. Why not support local artists? Why go to like artists from, you know,
elsewhere?
Yeah, just support your local artists, or like from the region. So I was lucky enough to like ride this train from the beginning, and I was there from the start.
Yeah.
So this is how trust started, you know. People started trusting me, artists started trusting me, and at the same time, I'm very straightforward. I'm a like, if you visit my you visited, yes, obviously. So if you visit my gallery, whether the new one or the old one, or etc., you'll see how I work, how I function, the methods that I use with my artists, with my clients. So this helped a lot and helped me grow within هالفترة يعني.
Yeah. What do you think then are some good skills to have to run your own like gallery, and things you discovered along the way?
So first of all, transparency. You have to be transparent on both ends. So with the artists that you work with and with the clients that are buying from you. Transparency is key. And you should be more realistic. So you should guide the artist that, okay, you should start somewhere and slowly with when you expose more, when you showcase your work in other places, in museums, when important museums or institution acquire your work, this is where the price starts going up. You can't just start at I don't know how much, so you need to be realistic, and this comes on both ends, because if you're realistic with the artist and you guide him properly, then the buyers would be attracted to that, because they're gonna see, okay, this guy's realistic, he has a plan. It's not just random. We're not just doing a show for this artist and that's it. We sell and it's done. No, we work on the artist. We do shows every year or every other year for this artist. We explore different themes with the artist. We try to showcase his work in art fairs, institutions, museum. We invite big collectors to see the work, to acquire the work. So there's always a follow-up, and you can see that the artist is growing. So this is where people get attracted, and they're like, okay, maybe we should buy this artist.
Yeah. And you mentioned at some point, you were at the right time to kind of like ride the wave of the Arab art. How do you see the growth from then to today, and how has it evolved, and why do you think there's been such a shift actually?
First of all, the growth is exceptional, and I think we're still in the beginning. So the growth is crazy. The amount of new collectors that came into the market is insane, especially young collectors. So when I first started, the average age that would attend my exhibitions was like 50 or 60. So I had mostly the older generation that are interested, and they come and they buy it. Now, most of the people that attend are young people. So I sometimes see teenagers come. Maybe they don't buy, but they're just interested. They get their parents to buy. And people in their 20s, 30s. So the younger generation is becoming more and more interested in acquiring art, which is great. And it grew so much. And why? I think because, first of all, social media and etc. So people are more exposed to it, and they're learning more. And culturally, the Arab world is opening up. So a lot of museums are opening, whether it's here or abroad. So in Saudi, the UAE, Qatar, etc. These countries are doing amazing, and they're supporting the Arab art scene in a crazy way, which is amazing. So a lot of museums are opening. So people are more inclined to, they're like, we want to know what's that. So they're curious to see, okay, a museum is opening for Arab art. Oh, we have art. So a lot of people don't know. So they just know Picasso and I don't know. They don't know that they have amazing artists that came out of their country. So, and that you can go and see their work and etc. So this is helping a lot, and the other factors, like I said, social media, etc.
Yeah. And so when you talk about, you're seeing a shift in also the demographics of the people that come into the galleries and want to look, what are some advices you would give to someone young, since if we're talking not necessarily teens, but anyone young or first time coming into your gallery, how do you approach them and kind of help them in their journey to, if they want to start investing in art?
So first of all, I tell them, if you want to invest in art, you should look at many factors. The first factor, you should fall in love with the piece. This is the number one rule. Number two, obviously, you need to know at what price to buy, and always ask someone like an expert, an art consultant, a gallerist, etc. Ask an expert before buying, because you can easily buy something that's overpriced, or buy something that with time is not gonna have value, or etc. So ask someone, but first, before thinking of the money and etc., think of it as something that you like, because you're gonna live with this piece for a long period of time. So first of all, it's about beauty, and it's about your connection with the art piece. Secondly, you start looking at the money aspect, so investment, etc., etc. I also I encourage young and first time comers to invest in emerging artists, because usually these type, these artists have so much room to grow.
Yeah.
You know, and usually the budget is much lower than buying an established artist. So if you want to start somewhere and you're afraid, you don't know what you're doing, and you don't want to spend a lot, go to a gallery, go to an art consultant, and ask for up and coming rising stars.
Okay.
So you can buy early, and then obviously the more you wait and the more the artist grows, the more the value will grow. So eventually you're gonna see a huge return. So yeah.
Do you think people should treat it differently when they're looking to buy a piece of art for exactly that, like as an investment, or just for the sake of, building a collection without really thinking of the monetary aspect of it?
Yeah, it's two different aspects.
Okay.
If you're building a collection to invest, it's not the same as building a collection because you like it. You know, you might build a beautiful collection that has zero value.
Yeah.
You know, and at the same time you might build a collection that maybe you don't like or you don't relate to, but you're just buying it because it's an investment.
Yeah.
So this artist is gonna grow, or this artist is already established, there's already a value in the market, etc. You know that you might be able to sell it with a profit. So it's completely two different things. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are some maybe mistakes you spot with people approaching buying art in maybe either category?
Don't connect these two.
Okay.
So they're two separate entities. You can't say I like this, and it's not like the perfect scenario is obviously buying something you love and eventually, but this is a rare. It's gambling.
Yes.
But if you like it and you wanna buy it, just buy it, but forget about the monetary aspect. And if you're buying for investment, go to an expert, go to a consultant. Tell them, I want to build a collection, but this is an investment. I'm not buying it because I like it. I don't care if it's hanging on my wall or in the storage.
Yeah.
Eventually, in 10 years, I want to make X percentage on this amount. Then this is completely different. So don't mix it up.
Okay.
Yeah. But like I said, sometimes you're lucky. You buy something you love, and in 10 years, it's like $1 million piece. That's amazing.
Yeah, that's you're lucky.
Yeah, lottery, jackpot. Yeah.
So what do you think is the connection between, beyond, the trends, the value, the money around it, the relationship between art and, say, legacy? Or, I think there's more to it than just buying something because, and then what happens after you hang out on your wall? Is there a responsibility for the owner? How should it be looked at, like, in your eyes?
Of course. Like an art piece, when you buy an art piece, it's not a piece of furniture. This is something very important. First of all, you relate to it. Second of all, it's probably something that's gonna pass from generation to generation. So you have families that have art that they inherited, obviously, from their great grandma or grandpa, or I don't know what. So it's something it becomes part of your family and part of your part of your soul.
Yeah.
So obviously, when you like something and you're hanging it on your wall, you need to, first of all, you need to be proud of it. You need to show it to people. You need to have a relationship with it, So it's something that's very important, and it's going to be part of your legacy.
Yeah.
So if you end up keeping it, not selling it, eventually it's going to get passed on to your child. Your child will pass it to your grandchild, and etc. So it's something that's very important,
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so now if we switch back a bit to, the gallery itself, obviously, as you said, you started in Hamra. Fast forward to last year, like 2025, you doubled down in Beirut, and then you opened your art gallery in downtown. When did you decide to take that step and realize that it was maybe time to do it? Especially because, if I'm not wrong, you don't only have now emerging artists, but you also have established ones.
So when I started in Hamra, like I said, it was like very impromptu. It wasn't like very planned and etc. So the gallery in Hamra is quite small.
Okay.
So I had to start somewhere. So I started there. Eventually, like I said, alhamdulillah, I got amazing support, success, and etc. So started working also abroad. So I I didn't open physical galleries in the UAE, but I've been doing shows in Dubai and Abu Dhabi since 2022 with the support of family, friends that I really love. So I've been doing shows there at least twice or three times a year, which grew my audience, you know, and I attracted new clients from the UAE and the Gulf region, Qatar as well, Cairo, because my brother lives there, so I also have, you know, some sort of branches in there. So this is how it grew. So the business kind of grew and it moved, and I rode this wave, so it moved a bit quick. Fast forward 2024, I'm like, okay, I started including some established artists as well, showcasing some established artists, because I was approached by established artists as well to showcase their work, because they believed in my vision and they believed that the new gallery model and this dynamic young blood that's coming in and etc. This is something that they need to also, you know,
take advantage of.
Exactly. So I started showcasing some established art, but I'm still very strong on
the emerging
part.
No, of course.
So I decided to double down and open a second gallery in downtown Beirut. Why downtown? Because it's the new hub. You know, everyone's in downtown. Everyone wants to be in downtown. So I got lucky. I found a very nice place, and that's it.
And how is the kind of operations on a day-to-day? Imagine like I come not to look at the art, but to just like follow you around a bit. What does it look like when you're running a gallery?
You don't want to do that. You don't want to do that. No. I'm
not
all
even
over
a
the
good
place.
day.
No, you don't want to do that. Listen, it's something that I love. I'm so passionate about it, so I'm very happy to do it. But it's exhausting.
Okay.
You know, dealing with the artists, dealing with clients and with people every day. You know, the hardest thing to sell is art. People think it's easy. You just open a gallery, you hang nice stuff on the wall, people come in and they buy it. No.
Okay.
It's not like that, you know. It's not like that at all. So the hardest thing to sell today is art. You're not selling a necessity, or you're not selling something that people need, or whatever. Like, it's a luxury.
For sure.
You know, and it's not easy to resell, and it's like art is just something it's something else. You know?
Can't compare it to anything.
Yeah, exactly. So it's kind of difficult because you need to, first of all, the clients, so you need to sit with them, you need to convince them, they need to be convinced, and they need to trust you, they need to trust what they're buying. Sometimes they go back and forth for weeks, sometimes more, until they decide to buy the piece. So you need to follow up, you need to be very patient. You can't be like,
you can't pressure them.
No, you can't do that. And you have to deal with the artists, so you have to visit their studios, always check up on them, see how the work is evolving. You need to interview new artists. You're always on the run, trying to find new talents, etc. So it's not easy. And you're also always running around for, you know, secondary market pieces. So where you go, you know, sometimes there's a piece that pops here, you need to go try to buy it, etc. So, because, you know, I collect as well.
Yes.
So I don't also do the gallery thing. I do secondary market art dealing and etc. So this is another part of my day.
Yeah, you wear many hats.
Yeah.
Okay, and you do that all by yourself, or do you have a team to support you?
I obviously have a great team at the gallery, but
It's tough.
It's tough.
Yeah.
It's tough. Like, I have a team that helps me a lot, etc. But at the end of the day, you know, you need to be on top of everything all the time.
Yeah.
So
Do you think, is there something you would have done differently today, looking back kind of on your journey and how you started? No. Not at all.
Not at all. I'm big on, like, you know, energies and how things just happen. So I think whatever happened or will happen, or I just go with the flow. And like, I'm proud of where I am today and what I did. I started from nothing, you know. It's not like I'm born into a family of like art collectors and I inherited like millions of dollars of art. No. So I literally started with just 4 or 5 paintings that I bought from my salary. And alhamdulillah, where I am today, I'm very proud, and I'm still very ambitious and motivated to grow. And I think it's just the beginning.
Yeah, no, that's amazing. And so you talked about expanding, and, you know, like, you're having people maybe in Cairo, like clients in the UAE and abroad. do you see a difference in how the clients are across the regions, like a different pattern of how they approach art, and which makes it on your side different to, you know, convince them or educate them?
A bit. So in the Gulf area, you know, it's different. So competition is higher. You have a lot of galleries from abroad, from the Arab world, from everywhere around the world. So it's a bit more competitive in there. But obviously, when they see someone from their region, they're more inclined to, you know, it's easier to communicate. They understand you more, you understand them more. So it becomes a bit more comfortable on both ends. And when you go to countries that are culturally like more enriched in the art world, like for example Lebanon. So Lebanon, we are, I think, one of the oldest Arab country that has art, and it's like the art is open for everybody. So we have artists that date back in the early 19th century even, you know, and I would say not early, but late 19th century, yeah. And the 20th century, the modern period, so the 50s, 60s, 70s, other countries in the Arab world were, you know, not really into art. We had, you know, female artists that, you know, exhibit in the States, exhibit in Paris, etc. So it's easier here to like communicate, but also in the Gulf, it's becoming amazing. You know, they're moving really fast. They're becoming very highly educated. Actually, they سبقونا يعني they're much better than us now. So yeah, it's becoming more and more fun around the area, and I'm hoping to soon expand to the UAE as well by opening a physical space. So I've been doing shows, like I said, in the UAE. I still do it, but I'm thinking of, inshallah, very soon to like open a physical space in the UAE. Okay,
amazing. Hopefully. And you'd have like just a foot in both places. You'd have more work. I'd want less to be in your day-to-day.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, no, but that's very exciting. That's very cool. And I think also like it's interesting because there's a lot more also the more established players, like, you know, the auction houses and the art fairs, they're growing a lot in the area as well. And I see that happening a lot. I think it's super interesting to see this growth happening. Is there something that you, I don't know, like a piece from your earliest collection that today stayed with you and you still kind of look back at and has grown so much today?
Yeah, I wouldn't say very early, but yeah. Okay. There are some pieces that are dear to my heart and very special, but at the end of the day, I'm a gallerist, I'm an art dealer, so I get attached sometimes to pieces, but I've been working on the emotional side. Okay. Like, I shouldn't get too attached to pieces because I make a living from selling art. So if I just buy and keep,
there's no business.
There's no business, you know? So eventually I got used to like sometimes letting go of the pieces. It's fine. If I get offered the right price, it's okay to sell it. You can rebuy something else. It's fine. So yeah, it was hard at the beginning, but eventually I got used to it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I can imagine, because when you build a big collection and you said you have one that like doesn't even fit in your home, like you need this space.
Exactly.
I'm sure that happens. Yeah. And so how do you, if we talked a bit about the gallery side, but as you said, you have, you know, you're a collector as well. When you build your collection, how do you develop your taste? How do you think that starts for someone who's, for example, still on the lookout, like trying to build that for themselves? How would you advise them to go about finding their own taste and looking around?
So, first of all, it's like in French we say coup de cœur. So when you see something and you're like, oh my God, you just feel something, you know? When you get this feeling, it means you're in a way in the right direction. Like, this is the style you like, the colors you like, and the type of art that you like. So when you get this feeling, that's like, oh my God, wow, or whatever, or you relate in a way, this is it. Yeah. You're in the right spot. But at the same time, you need to see a lot, because sometimes you see that wow, but then you go somewhere else and you see something that's even wower, you know? Yeah. So no, you need to see a lot, many options, visit a lot of museums. It's very important when you travel or in your own country, visit museums, because you will see a lot of art from different periods, different styles. You will learn more about yourself when you visit museums and what you like. So it's very important. Visit museums, visit galleries, look out for shows that are happening. Eventually, with time, you will develop your taste and you will know what you actually like and what you dislike.
Yeah, I think it's very important also to know what you dislike.
Of course. I don't think in art there is like mediocre part, like in the middle. No, it's you either like or dislike.
Yeah.
ما في بالنص.
Yeah.
You
I
know?
feel like some pieces I could be like, yeah, it could look nice depending on where you put it.
You're just convincing yourself that you like it, but you don't like it.
Okay.
So when you like something, it's wow.
Yeah.
If you're convincing yourself that you like it, it means you don't like it.
don't like
So just put it apart.
Okay.
You know. So
Yeah.
you either like it wow or you don't like it. There is no like gray zone.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. What are your favorite maybe artists in the Arab space currently?
That's a tough question. Everybody asks me, and I don't really like answering with one name.
Okay, let's maybe do a top 3.
I would say no. It's fine. I'm comfortable with saying names, but like I said, there's no one artist.
Of course.
So I love the whole Arab art scene, all the artists from the Arab world. But obviously, I'm a huge fan of Paul Guiragossian. He's a Lebanese Armenian artist. Actually, he's Palestinian originally, but yeah, I love Marwan Kassabashi. He's a Syrian artist. I really like Etal Adnan, even though she started off as a poet and she was known as a poet, but eventually she started becoming an artist. I love her work. I would say these 3 are like, but there are plenty of other artists. Obviously, these are artists that passed away, so they're more in the modern era, I would say, from the contemporary side. So I really like the Iraqi artist Serwan Baran. He's an Iraqi artist based in Beirut. Today he's like one of my favorites, I really like Hiba Kalash. She's a Lebanese artist based in the States. I also love her work. So these are names that are, but like there are plenty more.
No, of course.
It's
an
a long list. So yeah.
Is there since you've developed your own taste, is there a common thing between them that makes you like those artists?
I would say expressionism.
Okay.
They're all in that. Not all of them, actually. Most of these names not all of them. Most of them are in that, under that umbrella. I like art that's expressive. Okay. Like when you see it, you're like, oh, colors, the brush strokes, the composition, the whole thing is like, oh my God, you're like, and every time you look at it, you discover something new and you're never bored of it. So no matter how long it stays in front of your face, you're always like intrigued to see what's happening. And this is what's common.
I think it needs to speak to you. I remember so well, I still have like my first year, I think in London, I went to the Frieze Art Fair and I saw an art piece. I took a picture of myself with it because I was like, in some years, I'm going to buy that one. And I still look back at it and I think about that one every time. And it's still like stayed with me. It's crazy sometimes
buy
what
it.
you can do. Yeah, maybe. If it's available still, I will. But that's I think it's super interesting to have art around you, like in general. I can't even imagine a world without art. How do you think it would look like?
Oh, terrible.
Terrible.
Art is a necessity.
Yeah.
Like in your own, like I would say, conscious mind or whatever, we need art. Yeah. So art has been present since the early ages, like the Stone Ages, like humans used to carve into stones, these scenes where they're hunting animals or etc. So there you can see that in the natural instinct of the human being, art is always there. Yeah. So I think art, we need art to survive. We need art to express ourselves. We just need art.
Yeah, no, I fully agree. And I love that, you sound like a pioneer in this space. No, you don't want to call it that?
I'm still young.
Yeah.
It's just the beginning.
Yeah.
I have a huge passion for it. I'm still learning, obviously. It's a long way. It's a journey that never ends. Art. You keep learning. You know, I have friends that are, or they're like 80. They're like my grandfather's age, but they're my friends. They're my mentors. They teach me. They tell me we learn every day. You know, they're still learning. They've been collecting art or dealing with art since they were in their 30s or 20s, so 50, 60 years.
Yeah.
They're still learning. So it's a journey. You can never become a pioneer, but
yeah.
But yeah, I would say I'm passionate.
Yes.
I'm strongly passionate about art.
And if there's one thing maybe from, the mentors around you that you learned, what is one thing you can share maybe with our listeners as a learning you've had throughout like your journey now?
A lot of things. But the most important thing is, like I said, if you like something and you have this feeling that you get when you see a piece and you can afford it, buy it. Don't think. Because sometimes you might regret it later.
True.
If you don't get it, you might regret it.
Yeah, that's very true. And so maybe to close it off, I want to ask one last question. What do you think today is actually the role of an art gallery? And in our space, in the Arab, art space, what are you most excited about going forward?
So the gallery, obviously, like I said, it should be a cultural space, a space where people come, enjoy, look at art. It should be a place where young and emerging artists can still come and have support. At the same time, established artists as well. And for the Arab art scene, I see it growing exceptionally, more and more every year, especially with the support of all these, new museums that are opening in the Gulf, etc. So I think eventually it's gonna become like as big as the international and Western art scene. So if you like art and you're passionate about it, head to a gallery, head to, I don't know, your artist friend or whatever, and buy art. Yeah.
Start your collection, basically.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
To be honest, if I had enough capital, I would have done it probably early on. But
people have a misconception. They think art is expensive. You can buy art for $20. You don't have to buy art for $1 million.
Yeah.
And eventually, the $20 can become something with time. But if you like something, no matter like the price tag, or just go and buy it if you can afford it, obviously.
Yeah, no, of
but
course.
You have art that is below $100 as well. That's great. It doesn't have to be $1 million to be great, or $20 million to be. No, you can buy an amazing piece for $100, $200, $300. So allocate a certain budget. This is something that I would say. Allocate a certain budget, a yearly budget, a monthly budget, whatever makes the person comfortable. Allocate that budget and buy art with it, because eventually
it'll accumulate with time.
Exactly, and you're gonna love this.
Yeah.
And you're gonna feel the difference in your house. The energy in the house is gonna be different. Everything's gonna be different.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think sometimes maybe you have this misconception that art is only for the elite.
No.
Because we see it on, you only hear about like the auctions that sell for millions, or like pieces that are worth millions. So you think you're too far from this.
My first piece was $200.
Okay.
This is the first piece I bought. So no, it's not that. It's a huge misconception. Art is for everyone. Anyone can afford art. Anybody.
That's great. Yeah. I mean, I really hope people get inspired to maybe start and go out and see more. Like, I'm a huge fan of museums and galleries, and I've also been surrounded by that at a very young age. So I really appreciate it. But yeah, it's always been difficult to take that step and saying, okay, I'm gonna, buy pieces that are maybe too expensive, or you think about it twice. But yeah, that's a great, I think, thing to clarify for people as well. But Kalim, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure to talk to you, and I hope you had a good time.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You've been listening to The Seat of the Muse, and I'm so grateful you chose to spend this time with me. If something stirred you today, a thought, a feeling, a question, I'd love for you to subscribe and follow on your favorite platform, leave a review, and even share this episode with a friend. Your support truly fuels this space and helps invite more voices to sit down with me. Until next time, stay curious.